It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. At just 15 years old, Natalie was trafficked from Dallas. Did it hit you that you were being abducted? You're sedated, raped, they just kept you in a haze.
I was very out of it and confused.
Where are they getting these people from, and how are they being put into the sex trade?
The #1 recruiter is a female.
No one is truly safe until we all know the truth. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry built on manipulation, coercion, and unimaginable suffering. And it's happening right here in the United States. Human trafficking is one of the most underreported crimes, leaving us with only a fraction of the true scope. It's in our cities, our suburbs, and even our social media feeds. Tonight, we'll expose the shocking tactics traffickers use to lure victims, hear from survivors who escaped the unthinkable, and learn what you can do to stop modern-day slavery. This is the wake-up call America needs, because no one is truly safe until we all know the truth. My first guest, who goes by Lisa, has been a private investigator for 13 years and an informant working undercover to probe alleged human trafficking. She does it with the help of a remote team member, pinpointing high-traffic locations and collecting data by engaging with ads posted on the dark web. Lisa gave us exclusive access on one of her missions to surveil suspected hotspots and show us what type of information she passes on to police.
Okay, we are here.
Let's see if we can get a room number from them. Again, there's multiple ads, multiple phone numbers, and at least 20 girls. I'll send you guys one of the ads right now.
Got it. A lot of these ads from these places, it's like, ordering takeout. And we've got a guy that's in the parking lot on his phone with his dog. He's definitely a spotter. And then you have a guy that's walking around in the parking lot on his phone, and he's communicating to somebody. These guys have this place locked down. So I've got your other pimp walking in right now.
There's a Mustang.
I think that this has got to be our guy running this ring, because he's the one that's circling the parking lot like crazy. These guys are making a lot of money. 120 for every 15 minutes, making about $1 million a year.
She just texted me in Spanish and asked if we're the police, and I said no.
Yeah, the guy with the hat, you see the pimp, and that young girl, she's working there.
That's your arrangement right there.
Yeah.
She said we can leave if we're not gonna knock on the door.
Doesn't look right.
What do we got?
A board.
Lisa and her team had been spotted, so they had to move on to their next location and do so in a hurry.
We'll also be looking at illicit massage businesses that are full service. We're gonna go see what we can get as far as surveillance for law enforcement. Oh my goodness, there's a kindergarten. You gotta be kidding me. We have a school right next to a very, very, very popular, active illicit massage business. And we have John #2 walking out. Let's go.
Do you have gift cards? Gift card?
No, I don't have.
You don't have gift cards?
No, okay.
No?
Who gives a massage in shorty shorts and high heels? The reason why we ask for gift cards is the most legitimate massage places are going to have a gift card system. But illicit businesses, they don't have a gift card system. So we're gonna take the information that we found today, shoot this over to law enforcement. Hopefully some girls will be saved for sure, and we can identify these traffickers.
Okay, now while we do not have rock-hard proof of human trafficking, Lisa and her team have strong suspicion that that is exactly what's going on in these locations. Law enforcement will get her intel and decide whether to charge these businesses. Now, this is Lisa's first ever media appearance, and for her safety, we're keeping her identity concealed, and that's why you're seeing a bit of a different image. And look, thank you for doing this, first off.
Absolutely.
Thank you for doing this, and thank you for doing what you're doing. Both. Why did you decide to start doing this?
Well, we were seeing a lot of ads online, and I was working in cell forensics, and I was seeing a lot of stuff come across the cell phones, started to put together data and target packages for law enforcement as an informant, and then decided to do a nonprofit.
Okay, now you say cell forensics. It wasn't investigating this type thing.
No, it was downloading mobile phones for law firms and working in the capacity of getting the data off of the phones. We were seeing a lot of trafficking, and then transferred into working as an informant, and then partnered with an intelligence team. And now we build target packages for law enforcement.
Okay, so you were looking for other things, and you just started noticing, wow, there's just an awful lot going on here that seemed to you suspicious.
Absolutely. It was a lot of sex ads.
And what you were seeing were sex ads popping up that were just being sent to people, unsolicited sex ads?
Sex ads that were being sent back and forth, but also people going to the sites and looking for sex on their phones.
Okay. And these are specific sites that people know to go to.
Correct.
Okay. And so when you see these, you know, particularly if they intensify in a particular area, then you know, okay, where are these sex workers coming from? And that's where you start to get bothered.
Yes.
Okay. And the sex workers come from where? When you say they're trafficked, where do these providers, pimps, kidnappers, traffickers, whatever you want to call them in a certain context, where are they getting these girls, mostly girls, some guys, of course, some young men, but where are they getting these people from?
Well, you're going to have a difference between domestic trafficking and migrant trafficking. Domestic trafficking can come from grooming, can come from kidnapping. When you talk about migrant trafficking, that's a lot of the people that come in from the border, male, female, and children.
Okay. Let's talk about domestically. We're here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. There's millions of people here. And some of these young girls are actually from this area. And they're from schools and homes that people encounter every day. How do they come to be trafficked? They might be in a home in the Metroplex area here one week, and the next week they're showing up in these motels or massage parlors or whatever. How are they getting acquired by these bad actors, and how are they being put into the sex trade?
Well, we see girls, boys, mostly girls, coming in from out of state. A lot of them, they hook up with a female recruiter or considered a boyfriend, and the next thing they know, they're being trafficked into Texas, and now they're in a sex trafficking ring. We see people that are plied with drugs or alcohol, ketamine, and the next thing they know, they're being photographed and they're uploaded to porn sites, and then they're leveraged into trafficking as well.
Okay, and you say they hook up with, so there's some girl at a mall, there's some girl at a sporting event. Where are they hooking up, and how are they approached, and what do they say to them?
Well, what we're finding is the number one recruiter is a female, and they can be working at the mall. They can be tricked into thinking they're going into modeling. It can be somebody that befriends them that they don't know very well. They can pick them up from a party, and the next thing they know, they're being drugged and brought into the trafficking rings. It can be many different places that they gather these victims.
Okay, so it's usually, if you say the best recruiter is a female.
Yes.
So they're not as put off by that. So a woman, usually someone older, approaches them and starts befriending them, talking to them, and maybe offers them something, alcohol, drugs, you want to go with me somewhere, et cetera, tells them something they want to hear, gives them something that they think they want, but it's more than they bargained for. and they get them into an altered state of consciousness where they can manipulate them and move them, get them somewhere, and then they're not able to leave.
Correct.
And they give them a lot of drugs where now they're just simply don't have the ability to take the initiative to get up and go save themselves.
Correct.
Okay. Now, coming up, a night out at a Dallas Mavericks game turned into a nightmare for a teenage girl trafficked right from the arena, exactly like you're describing. We're going to add her story next. Have you heard about the so-called silent tax? It could be the biggest threat to your savings in 2025. I'm talking about inflation, out-of-control prices, a shrinking dollar, and less buying power for hardworking people like you. I trust Preserve Gold to safeguard my accounts, and I urge you to do the same. They're the only precious metals company I recommend. What are you going to do to protect what's yours? Text Dr. Phil to 50505 to get your free Precious Metals Guide from Preserve Gold. With gold prices recently breaking records and analysts predicting this trend to continue through 2025, you cannot afford to wait. As a bonus, you can get up to $15,000 with a qualified purchase from Preserve Gold. So don't wait. Text Dr. Phil, that's DRPHIL, to 50505 today. Struggling with sleepless nights and exhausting days? Well, Beam's Dream Powder can change that. Beam is proudly founded in America and run by people who value hard work, integrity, and delivering results. Beam's Dream Powder is a healthy nighttime blend packed with science-backed ingredients shown to improve sleep so you'll wake up ready for the day. Dream is made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients: reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. Plus, Beam is giving my listeners the ultimate Patriot discount of up to 40% off. Try their Dream Powder and get up to 40% off for a limited time. Go to shopbeam.com/Dr. Phil. That's shop, BEAM.com/Dr. Phil and use code Dr. Phil for up to 40% off. Sleep better, wake up stronger, and show up ready for your family, work, and country. At just 15 years old, my next guest, Natalie, was trafficked from a Mavericks basketball game here in Dallas. Now at 18, she's here with her mom, Brooke, and ready to tell her story. Thank both of you for being here.
Of course.
Listen, it would be a lot easier to not share this story. It'd be a lot easier to just kind of keep your head down and go on with your life. And I can't tell you how helpful it is for you to talk about this. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if you had heard the conversation we're about to have before this happened to you? Mm-hmm. How it would have put you on alert, and that's what we want to do. It was April of 22, so about 3 years ago. You were 15 at the time, and you were at American Airlines Arena right here in Dallas. How did this happen? How did it go down?
I was at a basketball game with my dad, and I just started to get very anxious, really wanting some substances of some sort. And I started walking around looking for anyone that could provide me these substances. And I just found this guy. He looked very attractive to me, so I was drawn to him. And he said that he had these substances, and that's when he decided to take me to the garage where he would have these substances.
And looking back on it now, is it your opinion that he was trolling the concourse looking for you?
Yes.
Looking for someone?
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear that, how does that impact you?
It's very difficult. It doesn't get easier, but it's unbelievable.
This is a public place.
Absolutely.
And Lisa, who you were listening to in the prior segment, this is exactly what you're talking about, right? This is like a mall, a sporting event, a gathering somewhere that they troll looking for someone in exactly the way you described.
Yes, they just need, 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, and you guys made eye contact?
Yes.
And you think he was spotting you walking
Yes.
around looking?
Yes, sir.
And when you made eye contact, was it your thought that this was somebody that might want a party or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And do you think he targeted you? Do you think he saw you leave your seat?
We did learn later that he was watching her the majority of the time that.
And I did not know that before.
Yeah, you didn't know. You just thought you just happened on him. Okay. So what happened when you met him? He said what to you?
He was just like, hey, what are you doing? Like, do you want to go smoke? How old are you? I told him I was 18. Just tell him I was looking for some substances. And he told me that he would have some in his car. And that's when we walked to the garage. And
okay, so you left the arena.
Yes.
And went into the parking garage?
Yes.
Okay. And when you got there, what happened?
We got there and I was met with his other friend. And that's when he continued to tell me that the substances were in his car. And that's when they both kind of grabbed me and threw me in the back of their car, not hurting me, just making me forcefully putting me in there.
Is that when bells went off?
Yes. But I didn't feel comfortable with saying anything. Yeah.
Yeah, but you knew when there was another person in the garage, did you know, wait a minute?
Yeah.
This had to be pre-planned?
Yeah, I was not aware of another person.
Yeah. Did you think about yelling, screaming?
No. Honestly, I just went into shock, just silence.
Okay. And they got you in the back of the car?
Mm-hmm.
And were they nice when they got you in the back of the car? Or?
They did not talk to me at all. They just talked to each other, and I just sat in the back seat with silence.
And did they leave?
Yes.
So immediately they took you away?
Yeah.
Did it hit you that you were being abducted?
No, not right then and there, no.
You still thought maybe we're just going to go smoke some weed or something?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And did you?
Yeah. Yes, we did.
And were you aware that it was laced with something, contaminated with something?
I was not aware of that at the time, but now I am aware of that, yes.
Okay. And how long was it before you were out of it?
I was out of it pretty quickly. Like, whenever we got to his apartment, I was completely out of it, just looking for more, not aware of what harm I was in.
How typical is this, Lisa?
Very typical. The fact that she's not thinking about what's happening to her because it's so outside of the scope of our everyday life. This can't be happening to me. And the reality of it is that they have this pre-planned. You know, they've got their drugs, their laced drugs, their alcohol, laced alcohol, and they're just looking for a victim.
Okay, and once they have physical control of her, once they have her incapacitated in an altered state of consciousness, and they outnumber you, they're bigger than you, they're stronger than you, at that point, it's over. You are abducted.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me about this. Did you think, oh, she's just gone off on a lark here, she's run off with some young people, some friends or something?
She, Natalie, had some issues with running away just in the prior year or so leading up to this. So, first couple of days we thought, oh, she's just run off. She'll be back. We were more angry and upset and annoyed. And then, as a couple more days go by, it's like, okay, she's been gone quite a while. There's no leads, just an eerie feeling. And then by the time I think we got to day 4 and 5, we were just distraught.
Like this isn't typical now.
Oh, absolutely.
She's done this before, but not like this.
After a day or so, we knew this is not what it is typically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is a cautionary tale, and I want everybody to hear this. Coming up, why Natalie's parents say they never would have found her if they didn't take matters into their own hands. Your body is a system, and when it's running right, you feel focused, energized, in flow, but sometimes we struggle to find that flow state. Why? Because there's too much static in our system, brain fog, fatigue, and inflammation. The Echo Flask clears the static by infusing your water with molecular hydrogen. a natural science-backed gas that helps your body think sharper, recover faster, and run smoother. This is more than hydration. It's better focus, more energy, faster recovery, less internal stress, and longer-term benefits that keep you sharp. When your water works harder, your whole system does too. Find your flow state with the Echo Flask hydrogen water bottle and get an unlimited supply of hydrogen water at home and on the go. Visit echowater.com/Phil and use code Phil for 10% off. That's echowater.com/Phil. Enter code Phil to save 10%. The next time you gather with family, enjoy Balance of Nature supplements as an addition to your favorite dishes. Our veggie supplement, made from 15 ingredients like garlic, onion, and cayenne pepper, can easily be opened and added to your favorite dishes like homemade soups or dips. Not to mention our fruits supplement, which is made from 16 ingredients like banana, strawberries, and mango, making it a great addition to your homemade smoothies. Start your journey with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first preferred set as a new preferred customer with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code Dr. Phil. That's DRPHIL. For 10 days, Natalie was trafficked across state lines, abducted, drugged, forced into situations no child should ever have to endure. Now, we're here with Lisa, who tracks this kind of thing, deals with this kind of thing. And by the way, Lisa's not some cowboy that's just out recklessly doing this because she wants to be some do-gooder. She works with law enforcement. She's not a vigilante. She gathers information. She lets law enforcement know what she's doing before she does it. She gives the information over to law enforcement afterwards. She's not, trying to ride in on some white horse and do something dramatic. She's responsibly gathering information with sponsorship from law enforcement, turning it over to law enforcement, and sharing very important critical information. And thank you for doing what you do. What you're hearing here is really a prototype. I mean, this is exactly what happens.
It is. And first of all, I'd like to say I am so sorry for what happened to you, but you are a hero and you are courageous. And thank you so much for speaking out so that you can give a heads up to other potential victims that don't see the warning signs. They don't know that there's the possibility this can happen. And unfortunately, this does happen more than people know.
Oh, and that's the problem. You went to multiple locations, multiple states, and they just kept you in a haze.
Yeah.
All right. And there was the third guy at the apartment. You're held at a makeshift apartment for a couple of days. You're sedated, raped by a man and his friend. And at one point, you were dropped off on a strip of a road and told to make money with a plan to be picked up later. What is going through your head at this point? Did they ever allow you to be lucid enough to start to think clearly at all?
No, I remember when I was left alone on that street, I was very confused. I didn't know the reason why I was on that street, and I didn't know where I was in order to get to a gas station or get to like a main road. I was very out of it and confused.
Do you know now where you were?
No, not at all.
You still don't know where they dropped you? Okay. At some point, you were picked up and driven to Oklahoma?
Yes.
To some motel somewhere? Do you know who it was?
I don't know who it was. I can just only remember how I got there, and it was very brief.
All right. And when you got there, there was already somebody there?
Yes.
They gave you some food?
No, not any food. Just drinks from the gas station.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are they treating you? How are they talking to you when they're not exploiting you, abusing you? How do they interact with you?
Really normal, honestly, just like how me and you are talking right now. Asking me questions about things I like to do. It looked like a very normal conversation.
Yeah. Now, was it Oklahoma where you encountered someone that had a partner there that was a woman?
Yes.
Is this the muffins
Yes.
person? Mm-hmm. What was her role in all of this?
She was the one that took the pictures of me that were posted to my sex ad.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And how did she treat you? How did she interact with you?
She tried to treat me like a daughter, tried giving me clothes, tried giving me drinks, tried giving me a shower, but very intrusive in all of that, not giving me any privacy with any of it.
Okay. And you say that these pictures that they were taking, mm-hmm. You got a private investigator involved, right?
Yes.
And this person went on the dark web?
I'm not even 100% sure of his methods, but we were referred to him by a friend of a friend, and I sent him, just in desperation of not having any leads and any assistance with, police or anything, sent him some pictures, and he just said, "I'll call you back if there's a match." I didn't really know what was going to be matched, but later found out it was facial recognition type stuff.
Okay, and he came back with a report that said she is on some sites and she is up for sale.
Yes, he told me, I think I've got a match, and it was only, I think, 86% of a match. So, he said that's still pretty good, but, he said, "I'm going to show you how to get to these pictures." And he did. And even when I saw the photos of her, I don't know if my brain wouldn't process it, but I had to get verification from my husband and my mom that it indeed really was her.
And the ad was for her up for sale?
Yes.
To buy her?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Natalie obviously got out of there, got rescued. We're going to talk about how all of that unfolded next. We're talking to sex trafficking survivor Natalie. You had no idea what they were doing with these pictures. Mm-mm. You had no idea you were up for sale. How often does this happen, Lisa, in terms of how often do they keep control and just exploit them? You said in some of these sex trafficking places, it's like $120 for 15 minutes, and then other times they sell them. What's the difference? How do they decide, keep them, work them, sell them?
I think it's going to depend, sex trafficking ring to sex trafficking ring. You can have traffickers flip girls from one location to the other. They might get an inkling that people are looking for them. It might be missing girl or boy pages online, and they might transfer them out of state. So we see trafficking rings working Oklahoma, Louisiana with Texas that are part of the same ring, and they'll flip them in and out. But they keep them in the rings as long as they can. I mean, we've seen rings that are working out of motel sites for up to 4 months, which is, unusual, but we've seen it. And it's the same girls rotating in and out, and then they'll move them.
And when they sell them, how much do they sell them for?
I think that's going to vary in range. When you're getting $120 for 15 minutes, or in some rings it's $160 for 30 minutes, there's no telling what the price tag can be for some of these victims.
Yeah, because that's approaching $1,000 an hour, $800 to $1,000 an hour. And so that's a lot of money per day. So if they sell them, it's got to be for a lot of money.
It is for a lot of money.
You next encountered a man who was a meth user who abused you over a 4-day period, right? There was a raid on a motel. You weren't there. They didn't find you then. But you did get outside, and tell me about that. How did all of that happen, and how did you eventually get in the hands of someone that helped you?
So I have been there for like 4 days, and it's the 4th day, and I just woke up, and he was like, I could tell he was really slumped, and he looked like he was about to pass away. So I go over to him, and I'm like, "I'm gonna go get you help." And I go outside. I'm still very confused, still very unaware of like what's happening to me. And I go up to this couple and I'm like, I need your help. Like there's this guy dying. I think is dying. He's been using. I need your help. And they said they couldn't help me. And so I was just walking down the street continuously, just praying for someone to come, whether it was a cop, ambulance, fire truck, like anything. And whether to help me or help this guy, like it didn't matter. And I was just praying and praying over again. And 5 minutes later, like a cop drove by. He passed me and then drove by and asked me if I was Natalie. And I said yes immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
And how were you dressed at this point?
I think I was in shorts and a T-shirt with no shoes, carrying my shoes.
And this was in Oklahoma?
Yes.
And was this a highway?
It was a neighborhood, but it was like houses, like apartments connected with each other, if that makes sense.
Okay. Uh-huh. And he asked you if you were Natalie?
Yeah.
So obviously they had a bulletin out on her. And did you already have an idea she was in Oklahoma?
Yes, we knew from the ad that she was in Oklahoma. When the raid happened and that was unsuccessful in getting her, I panicked because, I said, now they're on to us and now they know that we're looking for her. And I didn't know what that time frame would look like. And it was, another 3 or 4 days before they just randomly came across her, and they were so overjoyed to have found her.
What would you say to young girls that are walking around the mall or a busy place? What would you say?
I would say keep your guard up. Watch where you're going. Watch who is surrounding you, and make sure you're with safe people that are going to keep you safe and themselves safe. And just have your phone on you if you have a phone, or be around people who have a phone that you can contact someone when you need help.
Do you go out in the public now? Are you paranoid about it? Are you?
Sometimes when I get an anxious feeling, I do, but usually I feel comfortable walking around. I haven't gone to the basketball place yet again, so.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
All right, y'all stay with us. Coming up, a young man trafficked from Honduras at just 14 years of age. We're going to add him to the conversation when we come back.
After 34 years of doing this job and doing numerous sex trafficking and forced labor investigation, some of these children are in forced labor, some are going to be in pornographic movies, some are in the sex trade, some are going to be dead, some we'll never find. That's just a fact. We're going to find as many as we can and rescue them. They need to be rescued. These children are waking up every day to a life of hell, and they need to be saved. Immigration consequences aside, it's not about immigration, it's about finding these children and saving them.
That was part of my recent conversation with border czar Tom Homan discussing the trauma of human trafficking. My next guest knows that all too well. At 14, Sue Amirs was abducted from Honduras, smuggled into San Diego, and sold into sex trafficking. It's hard to even imagine that that can happen. Sue Amirs, thank you so much for talking to us today. You were 14 in Honduras. How did you get into the hands of these people that trafficked you into San Diego?
Thank you, Dr. Phil, for having me. It's really great to see you again. And thank you for your many decades advocating for kids in foster care, especially for CASAs, Court Appointed Special Advocates. So I'm really thankful somebody who had a CASA when I was in foster care. Being from Honduras, I grew up in a community that unfortunately didn't have the many resources. My father and my mother had a very complicated relationship, marriage perhaps, and it was very violent. My father was very violent, and then to this point, I can tell you a story about all of the 57 scars that my father did to me. And I'm talking about this because it's important to note that this trauma, these years of abuse and condition to abuse and trauma, is what really put me at a higher level of vulnerability for trafficking. I was working in a pizza restaurant in Honduras, and two men came into the restaurant. They ordered food. They left about 2 hours later, and they gave me one of the biggest tips that I have received in the job. They gave me 100 lempiras. And back in 2004 in Honduras, 100 lempiras it was really a lot of money. I can feed my family for a whole week with that much money. So I was very excited to go home and really provide for my family. At this point, my father has already left our home, left my mother in a wheelchair because he hit her so bad they broke her back, and left me as the older son in the family to take care of them. And all of these experiences, just like what we heard from Natalie, they have been observing me, acknowledging my vulnerabilities, acknowledging that I didn't have a father figure, that I didn't have a mother figure that was there to protect me. And they target me at 14 years old from a pizza restaurant. And that night on January 3rd, 2004, about around midnight, it was time for me to go home. I started walking to the bus stop, and the two men came out of nowhere. They just started talking to me, and the conversation got a little sexual. They're asking me about if I ever had sex, if I ever had done this, and I immediately something felt off. I'm sure Natalie can recognize that moment when she felt something off. That was my moment. Something is wrong in here, but I couldn't act fast enough. The next thing I know, I have a wet tissue over my mouth and nose. And I have a knife up to my right side. And until today, I actually have a mark where the knife was actually punctured through my skin as they were trying to keep me from running away. Later on, we found that there was medication to put me to sleep, but also to sedate me and my system. So we know they used a lot of drugs to keep me sedated. But that is how I went missing from Honduras at the age of 14.
And let me tell you, folks, that's just how quickly it happens. He's targeted in a restaurant. They wait till he leaves and then is grabbed in that way. Coming up, the challenges that he's faced afterwards.
We need to deputize every American. I think every parent in this nation has that innate ability to recognize when something's not right with a child. Whether you see a child in a workplace that shouldn't be there, or whether you see a child with an adult that there's something just you key on that something isn't right here. If one report out of 1,000 saves a child, I think it's worth it.
Sue Ramirez was kidnapped from Honduras at 14, brought to the U.S. with no understanding of English, and sold to sex traffickers. Ironically, he was held very close to a police station on the same street, the house where he was being held, locked in a dark room where he would stay for the next 6 months. And I'm really curious, as you hear what's happened to him, how does that impact you? I mean, it's hard, your own situation, because you were so hazed all the time.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what happened to you. It's just a little different situation. But how do you react to hearing his story?
It's crazy. I think he's very strong because it was hell for me for 10 days straight. I can't imagine 6 months. And it's crazy what people can do to other people. And it's crazy what people can come out of bad situations.
And Sue Ramirez, you heard the story of just being taken out of American Airlines arena the way that she was. How do you relate to that, having been through it yourself?
I got chills as soon as I heard the way that she was trafficked and the way that she met her trafficker, and how, just in a matter of less than an hour, our lives changed so drastic and so and really changed us. I mean, we know that, and I realized this a very long time ago, and I'm sure that Natalie has realized it too, is that the trauma that I experienced, the pain, suffering, may have broke me, but there were so many more times where I found hope and peace within myself, and that allowed me and to really just form the strength that I needed, but I also to commit to becoming a professional and working with victims of human trafficking every single day. And I have been working for the last 15 years with survivors of human trafficking. And Natalie, I must say, you're so young, and I makes me feel so empowered to hear and to be here, because we know the trafficking it's such a traumatic experience that broke us, yet you did not let it break you and keep you down. You let it make you again. And it sounds like that has become the foundation of the woman that you are today, and the good work that you do. So thank you for all that you do and for telling your story, because people like you and I telling our stories is what perhaps will empower others in Texas and California and Florida and all over the country to tell their stories. And particularly as a boy, as a man, I know that there are many men, boys being trafficked every single day for both labor and sex trafficking. Yet there isn't comprehensive data, there isn't comprehensive analysis of the issue of how sex trafficking impact boys. Yet we know that at least 45% of those who experience sex trafficking are boys. And our efforts are not matching what our data is telling us. And that is important to us.
Lisa, you've commented on it, and Sumir's as well. He made the comment that everybody involved looks so normal, but they're there to abduct and rape children. It's just unbelievable. My final thoughts when we come back. I've said it before, but people that do these evil things have an advantage over the rest of us, because human behavior is on a continuum. And it goes from, really good folks all the way to the really dark folks. And most normal people, they just don't go there in their mind. So when you encounter someone like that, your mind doesn't go there. So you can't imagine when you meet someone that looks normal, acts normal, interacts in a typical way, that could even be in their head. And so you don't foresee it. You walk right into it because you think, I could never imagine going out in public to abduct a child and traffic them. So they have the element of surprise. And I don't want to make you paranoid, but we have to be aware. Those people walk among us. I want to thank all of my guests today. A special thank you to Private Investigator Lisa, trafficking survivors Natalie and Sue Amirs, and Natalie's mom, Brooke. Thank you for allowing all this to happen. Thank you for watching. Be alert, situationally aware. We'll see you next time.